Commander Ethan Hayes stood at the edge of the crater his team had just excavated on the barren surface of Proxima Centauri, B. The wind howled across the dusty landscape, kicking up red particles that danced in the dim light of the distant star. He adjusted his helmet and stared down into the darkness below. None of them had expected to find anything of value on this routine expedition. Their mission was simple: set up monitoring equipment, collect samples, and return to Earth within 6 months. Space Command wanted data, not discoveries. Ethan motioned for his team to bring the lights closer as he caught a glimpse of something shimmering beneath the surface. The drill had broken through what appeared to be a solid rock layer, but underneath, there was a hollow space, and within that space something glowed with an unnatural blue light. The science officer, Maya Patel, approached with her scanner in hand. Her eyes widened behind her visor as she reviewed the reading's organic compounds. "Commander," she whispered, "the scanner shows complex biological signatures and some kind of energy pattern I have never seen before." Ethan felt a chill run down his spine. Despite the regulated temperature of his suit, Proxima Centauri B was supposed to be lifeless, a dead moon orbiting a distant star. Yet here they were staring at evidence that challenged everything they thought they knew. The team worked through what would have been night on Earth, carefully widening the opening until it revealed a tunnel. Large enough for a human to walk through, the walls were lined with crystalline structures that pulsed with soft bioluminescent light. The air inside, according to their instruments, was breathable against protocol. But following his instincts, Ethan decided they would explore. He selected a small team including Maya and communications specialist Alan Wong. Their mission expanded in an instant from routine survey to first contact protocol. The tunnel descended at a gentle angle, curving occasionally, but always leading deeper. They walked for nearly an hour before the tunnel opened into a vast underground cavern, and there they were. Tall, slender beings with pointed ears and skin that seemed to contain galaxies within it. They moved with impossible grace, their long limbs flowing like water. Their eyes, large and almond-shaped, contained swirling patterns of stars. The Eldari, that was the name they gave themselves. Communicating first through gestures, and then through some kind of telepathic connection that Maya detected with her equipment. They had lived beneath the surface for centuries, hiding from something they called the Voidborn. The diplomatic efforts that followed were tense at first. The Eldari Council, led by Elder Meridia, was cautious. They had fled their homeworld when it was destroyed, seeking refuge in this hidden place. Their civilization, once spanning multiple systems, was now reduced to this single settlement. Ethan found himself meeting daily with the Council, learning their language and customs. They were highly advanced despite their limited resources. Their technology seemed to blend with biology in ways human science had never achieved. It was during his 3rd week underground that he first met Lyra. She was the daughter of Elder Meridia, younger than most council members and curious about the humans. While others maintained their distance, she approached Ethan directly during a ceremonial meal. Unlike the other Eldari, she was accompanied by a small creature that resembled a lizard with wings. It curled around her shoulders, its scales shifting colors with her moods. Its eyes, like hers, contained miniature galaxies. "This is Azura," she explained, her voice melodic and strange in the human language she was learning. "She is the last Quetzal dragon saved from our home world." The creature regarded Ethan with obvious distrust, its scales darkening as it tightened around Lyra protectively. Lyra, unlike her mother, volunteered to teach Ethan about Eldari culture. She showed him their hydroponics gardens where plants from their lost world still grew. She demonstrated their art, which captured light and transformed it into 3-dimensional scenes that moved and changed. Day by day, Azura grew less hostile. The dragon would occasionally leave Lyra to investigate Ethan, curiously sniffing at his hands or clothing. Once it even allowed him to touch its scales, which felt warm and vibrated slightly under his fingers. The Earth team established communications with Home Command was ecstatic about the discovery, ordering extended mission parameters and additional resources. They were to maintain diplomatic relations and learn everything they could about Eldari technology. What neither the humans nor the Eldari realized was that they were being watched. Deep in the void between stars, a Voidborn collection vessel received the transmissions from Earth. The collectors, ancient enemies of the Eldari, studied the images of humans and Eldari together with particular interest. They noted the genetic similarities that neither species had yet recognized. They observed the growing connection between the human commander and the daughter of the Eldari leader, and they began to plan. Meanwhile, Ethan found himself drawn to Lyra in ways that went beyond diplomatic necessity. She possessed a wisdom that seemed at odds with her apparent youth. Her knowledge of cosmic phenomena exceeded that of Earth's most brilliant scientists. Yet she approached each day with childlike wonder. Azura seemed to sense this connection. The dragon began to acknowledge Ethan, greeting him with a melodic chirp when he arrived for his lessons with Lyra. Sometimes the creature would sleep, curled beside him as he and Lyra talked late into the artificial night of the underground city. Maya noticed the change in her commander. His focus had shifted. His reports to Earth became shorter, less detailed. He spent more time with the Eldari, especially Lyra, than with his own team. She worried about protocol, about the implications of becoming too close to an alien species whose motives they still didn't fully understand. Elder Meridia watched as well, her ancient eyes seeing what was developing between her daughter and the human commander. She had lived long enough to recognize the patterns of fate when they appeared before her. The council debated whether to share their greatest secrets with the humans, whether to reveal the true reason they had hidden themselves away. The Eldari were more than refugees, they were guardians, and now they had to decide whether humans would be their allies or their doom. Ethan knew none of this as he sat with Lyra in the crystal gardens watching Azura fly between the glowing stalactites. The dragon had grown noticeably in the weeks since they had arrived, its wingspan now the length of Ethan's arm, its scales shifting through colors that had no names in human language. He did not know that in the coming days, everything would change, that the peaceful first contact would erupt into conflict, that the true nature of the Eldari and their dragon companions would be revealed, that his own DNA contained secrets neither he nor his species had ever suspected. All he knew was that on a mission, meant to find nothing, he had discovered everything. And as Lyra smiled at him, her eyes containing universes, he wondered how he would ever return to Earth unchanged. 3 months passed since the humans first discovered the Eldari settlement. Ethan had become familiar with the winding crystalline tunnels that formed the alien city. He learned their customs, their history, and their language, but still sensed they were hiding something important. One night, unable to sleep, Ethan wandered through the less-traveled corridors of the settlement. The soft blue glow of the bioluminescent crystals lit his path as he explored areas he had never seen before. He heard a strange humming sound coming from deep within the mountain. Following the sound, he came to a chamber sealed by a translucent barrier. Through it, he saw Lyra standing in a circle of light, Azura perched on an elevated crystal platform. The dragon had grown considerably, now the size of a large dog. Its scales shifted through colors, pulsing in rhythm with the humming sound. Ethan knew he should leave, that he was witnessing something private, yet he remained transfixed as Lyra began to sing, in the ancient Eldari tongue. The air around her and Azura began to shimmer with energy, particles forming intricate patterns. Then something impossible happened. Azura spread her wings, which suddenly expanded to 3 times their normal size. Light poured from the dragon's eyes and mouth, streaming toward Lyra. The Eldari woman rose from the ground, her body absorbing the light, her form changing, becoming both more and less than human. When the light faded, Azura had transformed. The small dragon was now massive, with wings that seemed to fold space around them, like a warrior ready for battle. The dragon and Lyra moved as one being, their movements perfectly synchronized, their eyes glowing with the same inner light. A voice spoke behind Ethan. "You were not meant to see this." He turned to find Elder Meridia, her ancient face unreadable. She gestured for him to follow her away from the chamber. Once they were alone in her private council room, she sighed deeply. "The time for secrets has ended," she said. "We are not merely refugees. Commander Hayes, we are warriors, the last guardians of an ancient power, over cups of glowing Eldari tea." Elder Meridia revealed the truth. The Eldari had once been peacekeepers of the galaxy, wielding power drawn from the fabric of reality itself. Their dragons were not pets but symbiotic partners, channels for this cosmic energy. Together they had maintained balance until the rise of the Voidborn collectors of species and consumers of worlds, had hunted the Eldari to near extinction. The survivors fled hiding their power and waiting for what Ethan asked. For hope, Elder Meridia replied. For a sign that we might one day reclaim our purpose. The next day, Lyra sought out Ethan, she knew. He had witnessed the ritual. Her eyes held concern, not anger. You have questions, she said. Many, he admitted. They walked together through the hydroponics garden. Azura, now back to her smaller size, followed closely, her scales shifting between deep blues and purples reflecting her anxiety. The dragons are our partners, Lyra explained. We share a bond deeper than you can imagine. They channel the energy we call the flow, allowing us to shape reality in small ways. What you saw was a battle form rarely used now. Only in the most sacred rituals do we practice the old ways. Ethan thought of the implications. A race of beings who could transform into warriors with such power. No wonder they hid from the galaxy. No wonder they feared discovery, while they talked. Maya Patel, the science officer, approached with excitement. She had been working with Eldari scientists studying the biological similarities between humans and Eldari. Her findings were remarkable. Commander, she said, your DNA contains sequences that match Eldari patterns. Not identical, but similar. Like distant cousins who evolved separately. The Eldari scientists think humans might be descendants of a lost colony, one that fled during the early Voidborn Wars. This revelation changed everything. The human expedition immediately began testing blood samples from the entire crew. The results shocked everyone. Certain humans showed stronger resonance with Eldari genetic markers. Ethan among them, Olivia Wright. The expedition geneticist confirmed. What the Eldari suspected, humans carried latent abilities dormant for thousands of years. A genetic memory of powers once wielded across the stars. When Lyra learned that Ethan carried strong Eldari markers, she brought him to meet with the Dragon Council, ancient Eldari, who maintained the remaining dragon eggs. The council was skeptical of involving humans in their secrets, but Lyra insisted. Azura has already formed a connection with him, she argued. The dragon grows stronger in his presence. This has not happened since the Golden Age. The council reluctantly agreed to a test. Ethan would attempt to make contact with Azura through the ritual of sharing. While not the full bonding that Eldari underwent, it would reveal whether a human could truly connect with a dragon. In a chamber deep within the settlement, Ethan sat across from Lyra with Azura between them. The dragon regarded him with intelligent eyes, galaxies swirling in their depths. Lyra guided Ethan's hands to rest lightly on. Azura's scales focus on her presence, she instructed. Feel the connection between us. At first nothing happened. Then slowly, Ethan began to sense something. A presence in his mind, curious and ancient. Images flashed through his consciousness. Stars being born, worlds teeming with life battles across the void of space. He saw through Azura's memories. Glimpses of the Eldari at the height of their power. The connection grew stronger. Azura chirped, her scales brightening to a golden hue. The dragon moved, closer to Ethan, resting her head against his chest. Lyra gasped as a faint glow appeared where they touched. Elder Meridia, who observed from the edge of the chamber, approached, her expression grave. This changes everything, she said. The prophecy speaks of the sundered returning when the darkness rises again. She looked at her daughter with concern. You know what this means? The bond once formed cannot be broken. Your fates are now intertwined. Lyra met her mother's gaze with determination. I have made my choice. In the days that followed, Azura grew again, now large enough to carry a rider. Her scales stronger, her wings more defined. The dragon split her time between Lyra and Ethan, often curling between them during council meetings. The Eldari whispered, among themselves, some with hope, others with fear. Ethan reported some of these developments to Earth Command, carefully omitting the more sensitive details. He requested additional time for research, emphasizing the scientific breakthroughs possible through cooperation with the Eldari. He did not mention the growing bond between himself, Lyra, and Azura. He did not mention the dreams he now shared with them, dreams of flight and fire and battles among the stars. Unknown to all of them, the Voidborn fleet moved closer, their sensors detecting energy fluctuations from the settlement, energy signatures they had hunted for centuries. They prepared their weapons, calculated their approach, and deep within the settlement, Azura sensed their coming. The dragon grew restless, pacing the chambers, her scales darkening with warning. The storm was approaching. The time for hiding had ended. Ethan and Lyra trained each day, now learning to share the bond with Azura. The dragon growing stronger with each session. Elder Meridia watched with pride and sadness, knowing that the peace they had maintained for so long was about to end. The war was coming, and with it, either the final extinction of the Eldari or their triumphant return to the stars. The attack came without warning. Alarms echoed through the Eldari settlement as the ground above them shook. The crystalline ceiling cracked in places, raining shards upon the panicked inhabitants. Elder Meridia rushed into the central chamber where Ethan and the Earth team had gathered. "They have found us," she announced, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. "The Voidborn have come, on the surface." Black ships hovered above the excavation site, their hulls absorbing light rather than reflecting. Energy weapons burned through the moon's crust, targeting the settlement below. The Earth expedition ship docked nearby erupted in flames as the first volley hit it, destroying any hope of escape or calling for reinforcements in the command center. Eldari warriors donned ancient armor untouched for centuries. Azura grew agitated, her scales flashing warning colors as she coiled protectively around Lyra and Ethan. The dragon had nearly doubled in size again, now large enough to carry 2 riders. "We must reach the core chamber," Elder Meridia told them. "The Ancient Ones left a warship there in case of discovery." She pressed a crystalline key into Lyra's hand. "It will recognize your bloodline." Chaos erupted throughout the settlement as the first Voidborn soldiers breached the upper levels. Their forms, tall and spindly with too many joints, moved with unsettling precision. Their armor, black and sleek, absorbed the light of Eldari weapons. Screams echoed through the tunnels as they began capturing Eldari for their collection. Ethan gathered what remained of his team. Lieutenant Samantha Miller, the security officer, grabbed a cache of weapons she had discovered during their early explorations. Dr. Catherine Bell, the medical specialist, packed emergency supplies together with Lyra and Azura. They prepared to flee deeper into the tunnel system. Elder Meridia embraced her daughter. "One last time. I will hold them with the council," she said. "Give us time to reach the ship. Remember your training. Remember who you are." She looked at Ethan with ancient eyes. "Protect her, human. She is more precious than you know," as they fled down seldom-used tunnels. Azura led the way. The dragon seemed to know paths that even Lyra had never traveled. Her wings, now fully extended, brushed the tunnel walls as she guided them ever deeper. The settlement sounds faded behind them, replaced by the echo of their footsteps and the occasional distant rumble. Samantha tested one of the Eldari weapons, firing it at a collapsed section of tunnel. The energy beam cut through the rock like it was paper, clearing their path. The lieutenant examined the weapon with professional interest. "These respond to me," she said. "They don't work for everyone on our team." "I tried." Before Catherine nodded. "I can hear the dragon," she admitted. "Not words exactly, but feelings, intentions." She touched Azura's scales gently. The dragon chirped in response. Lyra exchanged a meaningful look with Ethan. They both understood what this meant. More humans with Eldari ancestry. More connections to the ancient past. The group reached a massive chamber with walls of pure crystal. Unlike the rest of the settlement, this place showed no signs of habitation for centuries. Strange symbols covered, the floors and walls glowing faintly as they entered. The ceiling arched hundreds of meters above them, revealing the core of the moon, a pulsing crystalline structure that bathed everything in blue light. In the center of the chamber stood their goal. An ancient ship, sleek and beautiful, with wings that resembled Azura's. Its hull shimmered with the same galaxy patterns as Eldari skin, but they were not alone. A squad of Voidborn soldiers had reached the chamber first. They worked methodically, connecting devices to the ship's hull, preparing to claim it. The humans and Lyra took cover behind crystal formations. Samantha distributed weapons to everyone, including Catherine, who looked uncomfortable, but determined. Azura crouched low, her form, shifting subtly growing armor plates along her spine, preparing for battle. "We need a distraction," Ethan whispered. "The ship responds to Lyra, but she needs to reach it." Samantha nodded grimly. "Leave that to me, Commander." She gestured to Catherine. "Stay with them, keep them alive before anyone could stop her." Samantha darted from cover, firing the Eldari weapon. The energy beam cut through two Voidborn soldiers before they could react. The others turned instantly, their own weapons charging with sickly green energy. In the chaos, Ethan, Lyra, and Catherine with Azura slipped around the edge of the chamber, moving toward the ship. The dragon provided cover, her body shielding them from view. Samantha fought with surprising skill, using the Eldari weapon, as if born to it. She moved with instinctive understanding of its capabilities, drawing the Voidborn away from the ship, but she was outnumbered. The Voidborn commander, a taller figure with elaborate armor, noticed the group approaching the ship. He raised his weapon and fired. Lyra saw the energy beam heading toward Ethan. She moved without thinking, pushing him aside. The blast caught her in the shoulder, spinning her around. She fell to the ground, blood seeping from the wound. Catherine rushed to her side, medical training taking over. Azura roared in rage. The sound shook the chamber. The dragon launched herself at the Voidborn commander, her claws tearing through his armor. Ethan grabbed the fallen Eldari weapon and joined the fight, covering Catherine as she worked frantically to save Lyra, but the wound was too severe. Eldari blood glowing slightly flowed between Catherine's fingers. Lyra grew pale, her eyes dimming. "I cannot stop it," Catherine said. "The energy is spreading through her system." Azura abandoned the fight, rushing back to Lyra's side. The dragon keened a mournful sound that echoed through the chamber. She nudged Lyra's face gently, then looked at Ethan. Her eyes, swirling with galaxies, seemed to speak directly to his mind. The bond ritual. Ethan realized it was their only chance. He placed one hand on Lyra and one on Azura. Catherine watched in confusion as energy began to flow between them, at first a trickle, then a flood. Light poured from Azura into Ethan, then into Lyra, forming a triangle of power. The dragon initiated what Eldari had done for centuries, but with a human added to the equation. The remaining Voidborn backed away, shielding their eyes from the intense light. The chamber filled with energy particles swirling around, the connected trio. At the center of it all, Lyra's wound began to close, her eyes fluttered open now, containing the same swirling galaxies as Azura's. When the light faded, both Ethan and Lyra had changed. Their skin glowed faintly with starlight. Their eyes contained universes. Azura stood between them, larger than before, her scales shifting through colors that had no names. The Voidborn commander hissed in his alien language, a forbidden bonding. "The collectors will want these specimens," Ethan felt, new strength flowing through him. He raised the Eldari weapon and found he could sense its inner workings. The weapon responded to his thoughts, growing more powerful in his hands. Lyra rose to her feet, moving with new grace and purpose. Together, with Azura, they advanced on the remaining Voidborn. The battle that followed was brief and devastating. The bonded trio moved as one being. Azura, providing protection. Lyra, channeling energy. Ethan, wielding the weapon with impossible precision. Samantha joined them, her own Eldari heritage giving her unexpected advantages. The Voidborn fell one by one until only the commander remained. The alien backed toward the ship, attempting to escape. But before he could reach it, he activated a communication device. A holographic message flashed in alien symbols. "Too late," Lyra said, her voice echoing strangely. "They know about Earth. They have transmitted its coordinates." The commander smiled, a terrible expression on his inhuman face. "The fleet comes human. The Voidborn will add your species to our collection." He raised his weapon for one final attack. Azura moved faster than sight, her tail whipping around to knock the commander off his feet. The dragon pinned him as Ethan and Lyra approached. "We must reach the ship," Lyra said. "We must warn Earth." Catherine examined the communication device. "The nearest Voidborn fleet will reach Earth in 3 days, she announced. "Their technology allows faster travel than anything we have." Ethan looked at the ancient. Eldari warship. Our only hope is to beat them there. The group boarded the ship, which hummed to life as Lyra placed her mother's crystal key into a slot on the control panel. The interior reconfigured itself, creating a space for both Eldari and human crew. At the center, 3 connected pilot chairs awaited. This ship was designed for a bonded pair and their dragon. Lyra explained, "It can travel between stars faster than light." The crystal ceiling above them parted, revealing the stars. The ship rose from its ancient berth, ascending through the moon's crust. As they broke free of the surface, they saw the Voidborn Armada, dozens of black ships preparing to jump toward Earth. The ancient Eldari warship now responding to both Lyra and Ethan's commands. With Azura connecting them, accelerated into the darkness, its name appeared on the control panel in Eldari script. Starsong. Lyra translated, "A ship of hope." Behind them, the Voidborn fleet gave chase. The race to save Earth had begun. The Starsong accelerated away from Proxima Centauri b, its crystalline hull humming with ancient power. Inside the command center, Ethan, Lyra, and Azura settled into the 3 pilot chairs arranged in a triangle pattern. The dragon, now the size of a small horse, curled her tail around the base, connecting them physically as well as mentally. This ship is designed to be piloted by a bonded pair, Lyra explained as holographic controls appeared before them. "It draws power from our connection." Catherine and Samantha secured themselves in secondary stations, monitoring the ship systems and the pursuing Voidborn fleet. The vessel felt alive, responding to their thoughts, adjusting its interior temperature and lighting to their comfort. Ethan connected to the ship control system. He gasped. Images, memories, knowledge flooded his mind. Thousands of Eldari pilots who had come before them. Their experiences, battles, strategies, victories, and defeats. "Did you see that?" he asked Lyra. "The ship memory." She nodded, the knowledge of all who piloted her. She reached across and took his hand. Their skin glowed where they touched. The pilot bond strengthens everything behind them. Catherine monitored the sensor displays. The Voidborn fleet is following, 20 ships, maybe more. They will reach Earth only hours after us. Ethan felt Azura in his mind. The dragon's presence was ancient and wise, far beyond what he had imagined. She shared images of previous battles fought by her kind, strategies that might work against. The Voidborn Lyra closed her eyes and fully connected with the ship. The Starsong responded, its engines flaring brighter. Its speed increased, pressing them all back into their seats. Stars blurred outside the viewports as they entered faster than light travel. "Will try to contact Earth," Samantha said, working the communication console, "but our signals might not reach them in time." Ethan felt something strange happening as they traveled. His perception expanded. He could feel the quantum structure of space itself. The weaknesses in reality where the ship could slip through, traveling faster than should be possible. He guided the Starsong, instinctively finding shortcuts through the void. "How are you doing that?" Lyra asked in wonder. "Those are advanced navigation techniques. Even most Eldari pilots take years to master them." Ethan had no answer. He simply knew where to go. The bond with Azura and Lyra had awakened something in his DNA, something that had lain dormant for generations. As they approached Earth's solar system, alarms sounded throughout the ship. The Voidborn fleet had split up. Some continued toward Earth while others pursued the Starsong. "We cannot outrun all of them," Lyra said. "We must fight." Ethan nodded, steering the ship toward Jupiter, using the gas giant's gravity to slingshot them into an attack position. The Starsong rolled gracefully, responding to his thoughts like an extension of his body. The ship's weapons powered up crystalline arrays extending from its wings. The first Voidborn vessel came within range. Its black hull absorbing light seemed to bend space around it. Energy beams lanced out toward the Starsong. Azura roared. The dragon sent energy flowing through the bonded trio into the ship's shields. The Voidborn attack dissipated against a barrier of swirling starlight fire. Ethan commanded. The Starsong released a beam of pure energy that cut through the void. The shot connected with the Voidborn ship, cutting it nearly in half. The enemy vessel exploded silently. In the vacuum, more Voidborn ships approached, firing a barrage of energy weapons. The Starsong twisted and turned, avoiding most, but taking hits against its shields. Ethan felt each impact like a physical blow through his connection with the ship Lyra. Accessed the weapon systems, adjusting their frequency. With each Voidborn ship they destroyed, Ethan discovered he could perceive the quantum vulnerabilities in their design, points where reality itself could be unraveled with precisely targeted energy. Another ship down, Samantha called out. But more are still heading toward Earth. Catherine monitored communications. They're jamming all frequencies. Earth has no idea what's coming. On the view screen, they could see the Voidborn fleet approaching. Earth 3 vessels had broken away from the main group, accelerating toward the blue planet. Humanity would have no defense against such advanced technology. We need help, Ethan said. We can't stop them all. Meanwhile, on the surface of Proxima Centauri, the Elder Meridia led the surviving Eldari in a desperate last stand. The council chamber had become a battleground. Eldari warriors fought with ancient weapons against the Voidborn invaders. But they were outnumbered. Elder Meridia knew their fight was hopeless. She gathered the remaining council members in the inner sanctum. The battle outside grew louder as the Voidborn advanced. There is one final option, she told them. The beacon. The other elders looked shocked. We swore never to use it, one said. It will reveal any surviving Eldari throughout the galaxy. Meridia nodded grimly. Our time for hiding has ended. The galaxy must know the Voidborn have returned, and our children need all the help they can find. In the center of the sanctum stood a crystal pillar untouched for centuries. Elder Meridia placed her hands upon it and began to sing. The other elders joined, forming a circle around her. Their voices rose in harmony as the crystal began to glow. Energy surged through the settlement, through the moon itself and out into space. A signal, a call for help that would reach farther than any communication ever sent by Eldari or human. The unique bond between Ethan Lyra and Azura amplified the signal, extending its reach across the stars. Back on the Starsong, alarms sounded again. But these were different. Ethan watched in amazement as the sensor display lit up with new contacts. Multiple objects accelerating toward their position from the outer solar system. They were not Voidborn. Their design was different, sleeker, with elements of both human and Eldari technology. Catherine worked frantically at her console. These are ships of human design, but far advanced beyond anything Earth has built. They originated from the Kuiper Belt. Apparently there are human settlements out there. A communication signal broke through the Voidborn jamming. A human face appeared on the view screen, but with subtle differences. The eyes contained faint galaxy patterns. Their skin glowed softly with starlight. We heard the call, the figure said. We have been waiting for this day for generations. I am Admiral Naomi Chen of the Free Human Colonies. We are descendants of those who left Earth centuries ago. Led by the first awakened ones, Lyra gasped in recognition. Some Eldari survived the ancient wars. They must have found refuge among early humans. The bloodlines continued in secret. Dozens of ships appeared now surrounding the Voidborn fleet. Their design varied, but all showed signs of advanced technology beyond anything Earth had achieved. Some had crystalline elements like the Starsong, others appeared to be living metal that flowed and reshaped itself. Admiral Chen continued, We are not alone. Other colonies exist throughout nearby systems. All of us carry the old blood. All of us heard the call. We stand ready to defend our ancestral home. The battle that followed was beyond anything Ethan could have imagined. The combined fleet of human colonies attacked the Voidborn from all sides. Their weapons, designed specifically to counter Voidborn defenses, cut through the black ships with devastating efficiency. The Starsong joined them, Ethan, Lyra, and Azura, linking their consciousness with Admiral Chen and her crew coordinating the attack. Azura underwent another transformation. The dragon separated from her physical form, becoming a being of pure energy that could move between the allied ships, guiding their attacks with impossible precision. The Voidborn fleet faltered, outnumbered, and outmaneuvered. Several of their ships attempted to flee, but the colonial vessels cut off their escape routes. The Starsong led a final assault against the Voidborn flagship. Its weapons, powered by the combined energy of Ethan, Lyra, and Azura, victory did not come without cost. Several colonial ships were destroyed, their crews sacrificing themselves to protect Earth. The Starsong took heavy damage, Its ancient hull breached in multiple places, but the Voidborn fleet was defeated as the final enemy. Ship exploded. Ethan felt a wave of exhaustion wash over him. The connection with the ship faded. Beside him, Lyra slumped in her chair. Azura returned to physical form, the dragon visibly smaller, her energy depleted. "The battle is won," Samantha said, "but the war has just begun. The Voidborn will send more ships." "The Eldari beacon has revealed Earth to the galaxy." Catherine looked up from her console. "Incoming transmission from Earth. They want to know who we are and what just happened." Ethan looked at Lyra and Azura. They had all changed so much since that first excavation on a supposedly barren moon. Now they faced something even more challenging. Explaining to Earth that humanity was not alone, that they were part of something greater. Admiral Chen appeared on the view screen again. "We should present ourselves together," she suggested, "united as we were always meant to be." She smiled at Ethan, noticing his changed appearance. "The awakening suits you, human. Your ancestors would be proud." The Star Song and the colonial flagship descended toward Earth together. They would face whatever came next as they entered the atmosphere. Ethan took Lyra's hand. Azura curled between them. The bond that connected them hummed with power and possibility. The aftermath of the battle brought chaos and wonder to Earth. The arrival of the Star Song alongside Admiral Chen's colonial fleet triggered global alerts. Military forces worldwide mobilized, uncertain if they faced invasion. Ethan, Lyra, and Azura landed the damaged Star Song in a field outside of what had once been Space Command headquarters. Global leaders gathered hastily to meet these visitors from the stars. News networks broadcast continuous footage of the crystalline ship and the transformed humans who emerged from it. The explanations took weeks. Earth societies struggled to accept not only the existence of the Eldari, but also the revelation that human colonies had existed beyond their knowledge for centuries, that humanity itself carried alien DNA. The truth of their cosmic heritage changed everything. Admiral Chen presented evidence of the numerous human settlements scattered throughout nearby star systems. Each had developed in isolation, some focusing on technology, others on biology, still others on the mental abilities that came from their Eldari heritage. Together they represented humanity's future. A species no longer bound to a single world, Samantha Miller became a crucial bridge between Earth military forces and the colonial fleet. Her natural aptitude with Eldari weapons had proven her heritage beyond doubt. She established training protocols for identifying other humans with strong Eldari markers. "We all carry the potential," she explained to a room of skeptical generals. "Some just have more active expressions of the genes the Voidborn will return. We need every advantage." Catherine Bell led the medical research into the human-Eldari connection. Her unique ability to communicate telepathically with Azura made her invaluable in understanding the biological aspects of the bond. The implications for medicine were staggering. "This could eliminate most human disease," she told the World Health Assembly. "The Eldari cellular regeneration abilities encoded in our own DNA just dormant." Her work would eventually pioneer treatments that transformed human healthcare. Most surprising of all was the arrival of Elder Meridia. 3 months after the battle, a small Eldari ship appeared in Earth orbit. Inside was the Eldari matriarch, wounded but alive, along with a handful of council members who had escaped the Voidborn. The reunion between Meridia and Lyra was emotional even for the typically reserved Eldari. The Elder examined her daughters. "Transformation with wonder, you have completed the ancient prophecy," she told Lyra and Ethan. The sundered bloodlines rejoined. The power reborn, with Elder Meridia's guidance. Earth governments established the Galactic Council, a coalition of human and Eldari representatives. The Council, headquarters, a magnificent crystalline structure, was built near the original landing site of the Star Song. Its purpose? To prepare humanity for its role in the wider galaxy, and to coordinate defenses against the Voidborn. For the Voidborn, though defeated at Earth, were far from destroyed. Their vast empire, spanning dozens of star systems, had merely lost a single fleet. But the news of their defeat spread quickly. Throughout their territories, long subjugated species found new courage. Rebellions, erupted on multiple worlds inspired by the Human-Eldari alliance. The biggest change came for ordinary humans as they learned to coexist with both the Eldari refugees and their own returning colonial cousins. Some feared these newcomers with their advanced technology and strange abilities. Others embraced them, especially as the benefits of cooperation became clear. In the Rocky Mountains, the Cosmic Academy was established, a training center where humans with Eldari ancestry could learn to harness their latent abilities. The academy grounds centered around Azura, now fully grown. The dragon had become a guardian and teacher, helping to identify those with the strongest connections. Samantha Miller became the academy's first human instructor, teaching a new generation of pilots to bond with the crystal ships based on Eldari technology. These vessels, smaller than the Starsong, but built on the same principles, formed the core of Earth's new defense fleet. Lyra worked alongside human scientists, helping them understand Eldari biotechnology. Her knowledge, combined with human innovation, created new hybrids of technology that neither civilization could have developed alone, the most promising being crystal computers that could interface directly with human thought. Ethan found himself the diplomat moving between human and Eldari societies. His unique position as both commander and bonded partner gave him influence in both worlds. His reports to the Galactic Council shaped policies for defense, research, and exploration. 5 years after the battle with the Voidborn, Earth had changed beyond recognition. The isolated planet had become a hub of galactic activity. Ships from colonial outposts and newly liberated worlds arrived regularly, bringing knowledge, resources, and allies. Cities now featured crystalline towers alongside concrete skyscrapers, and humans with faintly glowing skin walked the streets alongside their unchanged cousins. The great fleets of Earth, combined human colonial and Eldari vessels, patrolled the solar system, ever watchful for Voidborn incursions. The war continued in distant star systems, but Earth remained secure, its defenders growing stronger with each passing year. On the 5th anniversary of the battle, Ethan and Lyra stood on the observation deck of a newly commissioned vessel, Azura, perched between them. The dragon, now fully mature with wings that spanned 20 meters, hummed with contentment, her scales shifting through colors of anticipation and excitement. The ship, named Harmony, represented the best of both worlds, a human hull reinforced with Eldari crystals, its engines a hybrid of colonial technology and Eldari energy systems, its mission to seek out other hidden enclaves of Eldari throughout the galaxy and to find more human colonies, those who had fled so long ago that even Admiral Chen had lost contact with them. Elder Myridia, now the head of the Galactic Council, performed the launching ceremony. Her ancient eyes filled with pride as she looked upon her daughter and her human partner. "Go with the blessing of both worlds," she said. "May you bring together all the scattered children of the stars." The crew of the Harmony represented this new unity. Humans from Earth, colonial descendants, and Eldari survivors all working together. Catherine Bell, now the chief medical officer, had developed protocols for enhancing the dormant Eldari genes in human crew members. Samantha Miller commanded the security team, training them in both human tactics and Eldari techniques as the ship prepared to depart. Ethan thought back to that first expedition to a seemingly barren moon, how none of them had expected to find anything of value, how he had met an alien family and left with their daughter as his partner, never imagining that it would lead to the salvation of 2 species and the beginning of humanity's true place among the stars. Lyra sensed his thoughts through their bond. She smiled, taking his hand. Their skin glowed where they touched, creating patterns like galaxies being born. "The best adventures," she said, "are the ones you never expected to have." Azura spread her wings slightly. The dragon had grown beyond what any Eldari had seen in millennia. Her mind touched theirs, sharing images of the worlds waiting to be discovered. The Harmony lifted smoothly from Earth, its crystalline engines humming with power as it accelerated toward the stars. The journey that had begun with a routine excavation continued now with purpose. The scattered children of 2 civilizations searching for their lost family. Behind them, Earth gleamed blue and beautiful. No longer alone in the universe, no longer ignorant of its heritage. The planet that had once been just a pale blue dot was now a beacon of Hope for species across the galaxy. A symbol of what could be achieved when ancient enemies became allies, when differences became strengths, and as the harmony disappeared into faster-than-light travel. Ethan, Lyra, and Azura looked forward, not back, their bond stronger than ever, their future among the stars.